Hello and welcome everyone to episode 28 of One Piece at a Time, the One Piece read-through podcast where we read and discuss 5 chapters of the One Piece manga each and every week. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host and freelance letterer at Shonen Jump, Brandon Bovia. How you doing, Brandon?
Doing pretty good. Ready to get very upset at this chunk of chapters for One Piece.
Yep. This is when Oda starts screwing in the nails, or however you want to put it, just as like, oh yeah, these are completely hateable characters in the form of your villains. Like, man.
Yeah, he's one of the most.
Yeah. I gotta say, he has to really work to make Crocodile even more despicable at this point. Like, seriously. Crocodile's trying to overthrow a country, yes, but he can't be as bad as this guy, can he? I don't know. We'll find out, I suppose, but it is, man. Well, we'll see. We get a nice introduction to it because last time we left off with Wapol has arrived on the island and Dalton going to confront him.
Yeah, ready for a fight.
Yep. Well, first have Django, Dance Paradise. We've got the Navy still looking for him even though he's on this Mirror Ball Island.
Yeah.
And we see his bounty, 9 million.
Hey, not bad.
Not bad at all. Of course, it's like, oh crap, they're looking for me and I'm dressed exactly as I am on the poster. That's not good.
He's like, oop, all right. Better hide.
Yep. There's 2 other things on this poster I thought was pretty interesting / funny. One, there's a flag in the background of this very Mardi Gras-like city that, of course, has the Doisukoi panda.
Yeah, hey, the branding.
Yeah, I find it fun that anything that's in the East Blue to just try to find that damn panda now.
Yeah.
The other thing is the woman in this scene that the Navy officer is talking to. Like, that's a unique style and not a bad one either.
I don't think she's not like an actual character, right? Like
no,
some random person. Yeah,
she's not. But as far as like the standard design for female characters from Oda, she stands out because she doesn't look similar to Nami. She's sort of
she has
unique.
Like a different kind of face shape.
Yeah, where's that in the other characters?
Yeah, I don't know. Put more time into this random person on a cover story.
I guess so, but yeah, we'll see how Django avoids the Navy at this point, the Marines, and get back into the chapter itself where, Luffy and Sanji are still dealing with all these Lapins who have begun jumping up and down like crazy. And it's not long before Sanji realizes, crap, we know exactly what they're trying to do.
Welp.
Yep. And immediately shift as everybody across the country is like, get your weapons. Wapol's back. Let's go.
All right, time to fight.
Yep. Take him down. Like, which is honestly like,
I kind of love to see it.
Yeah.
All the citizens just being like, we're not taking anymore,
Yeah. It shows how bad it was. It's like, we do not want him back. Stay out of here. And it's oof. But man, we are definitely switching here, there, and everywhere, because then we switch over to Usopp and Vivi, who are trying to still find the village of Gyasta, which is where the witch is supposed to be. They're too busy arguing to and miss the sign. So they're lost.
It's fun. They have a couple moments together. Like seeing Usopp and Vivi together is a dynamic that we don't see very often. They
have some very good scenes throughout these 5 chapters. And
they have a fun back and forth.
Mm-hmm. It's really our first time seeing her interact with Usopp, which at this point she's interacted with most of the other Straw Hats. So this is the last little bit of dynamic. So it's fun to see them pair it up. We go back finally and see Wapol as he's eating a house and just saying how delicious it is.
I prefer my house is cooked well done.
Yep. All right. It's that's weird. Everything in this country is my candy. He's asking his followers to say why he's so great. It's like, oh my God, this guy. And then, what's this guy's name again? It's so hard to pronounce. Kuro Marimo.
Oh yeah. He's the one with the afro. Kuro Marimo.
Yeah, and he's like, hey, the Straw Hats are headed for Drum Castle. It's because Kureha has occupied your castle, which of course just sets off
Wapol. Not very happy about that news.
Mm-hmm. And he's very well aware.
He's threatening to eat them.
Oh yeah,
I eat people.
He's ready to eat them and the witch. He is done. And that's when Dalton flies in, pulls out his sword, and slashes Wapol across the stomach.
And he's just like, I came here to kill you.
Yes. Die. Because he's like, he slashed me, I'm going to die. No, just like, go ahead and die. Because, yeah. And then we see what Chess and Koro Marimo are capable of. Chess uses the bow and arrow, and Koro Marimo has these...
He's got Afro boxing gloves.
Okay. This is when we start getting a little bit more from what this country is all about. Apparently, It used to be known as the Great Medical Land of Drum, with its elite doctors and their superior medical skills. And right off the bat, 20 doctors for the external injury squad show up and to begin the operation and heal up Wapol with some steel plates and hammers. And like, how often is this happening since he's made of tin?
Yeah, seriously. I have like, okay. It feels more like they're repairing like a mech.
It kind of does. And how bad did Dalton slash him? Because his head's missing.
Or is he like super squishy? I have no idea. What
he slashed him across the chest, but then they say we haven't reattached your head. And I went back to the art. It's like, did his head fly off? But the way the angle is, it's impossible to tell at any one point if his head popped off.
Yeah,
these doctors are so good. He's essentially immortal at that point.
Yeah, they can just operate on him on the field instantly.
I'm so confused. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Either way, his head eventually comes back on. It's a silly ass scene, and that's when we see why Dalton believes it's his sin as well, because he used to be one of Wapol's vassals and the only minister who stayed to defend the country. They're like, yes, Dalton's a good man. He almost died fighting off those pirates. And then Wapol just says, he should have died then. I hate this guy. Like, that wink of his in the bottom right panel couldn't be helped. That's politics because...
Yeah, oh my... He's just like, what about it? Just the most punchable face.
Because it's like the land of advanced medical science, but they didn't know that there are only 20 doctors and they all worked at the castle. Every other doctor was expelled from the country. It's like, what the hell is these politics?
Yeah, and like he had... Every doctor in the country was in his castle, says Dalton, and so all of the sick just had to beg. And I'm just like, this is... I feel like a little too close to home, but man, that hits.
Mm-hmm. And... all of his former militiamen are prepared to take out Dalton. And apparently Wapol's father was a good man, according to Dalton's few words. We don't never see him or anything like that, but he's just like, the son of the former king to whom I am indebted. I was hoping you were coming to your senses, but nope.
It's kind of like when you have the whole quality of life for the country has just taken a nosedive because like the next in line to the succession is just like a complete irredeemable human.
Yeah, you see that a lot in these type of kingdom stories.
Yeah, exactly. You're just like, it's a kingdom, it's a monarchy.
The crap prince.
Yeah, basically.
Ugh. But then we learn what type of devil fruit Dalton has. The ox fruit bison model.
Yeah. Which is an interesting little detail, because that is I think the first time where we've gotten like a model for a devil fruit.
Yes. It's gotten to a little more specific.
Yeah, so it's sort of like there's like subcategories, which is cool. We'll see a little bit more and more of that.
Yeah, I think we do learn a lot more about these types of devil fruits as this story arc goes on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the ox fruit bison model. He becomes half man, half bison, it seems. And he's
also very fast.
Yeah, so fast they can't even hit him.
He's doing like a Kagebunshin no Jutsu over here.
Although he really needs to work on his attack names because his attack is called Fiddlebam.
That hey, look, we can't all be winners.
No.
it even if it has a bad name, it hits though.
Oh yeah, it takes them all out like a hurricane, as they say. And that's when we get another little bit from the townsfolk. This is a devil fruit of the Zoan family.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, we have families of devil fruit. That's interesting.
I don't know when that full explanation will come. It'll come at some point, but yeah, that's sort of a little nugget to keep in the back of your head.
Yeah, absolutely. But of course, got the normal soldiers who are never going to be an issue, but there are the other vassals, the three officers as they used to be called, and Chess knows Dalton's weakness. Other men are coming up to fight. He fires the arrows, and Dalton immediately jumps in the way.
Aha, your weakness is that you're too nice.
Yep. And my God, that panel where Dalton gets hit in the chest, because you can see the arrows on the opposite side. Like, it is straight through him, and it's
just straight through him, and he's just out.
It looks brutal. Amazingly enough, it's the Lapin who've been jumping up and down this entire time.
Yep.
Causing an avalanche that might be the big savior, because everybody's getting affected by this giant avalanche that's coming down. It is huge.
Yeah, that last spread with just like you see just like that tiny little Luffy and Sanji compared to just how massive. Like, oh, okay, yeah.
It's
so apparently you don't want to piss off the Lapins.
No, definitely do not want to do that.
They will kill everybody.
Yeah, they will wipe out everything to take you down. Good luck, that's for sure. But yeah, that's the chapter. So let's go ahead and move over to chapter 137.
Yep.
Avalanche, of course.
Avalanche, yeah.
No cover story this time, just a sort of a chill time between all the guys.
Yeah, everybody hanging out. I refuse to believe that Zoro actually knows how to play chess.
He's just sort of like, sure, this will move and this will work.
Yeah.
Why not? It's neat. I don't know. I like to see them just sort of hanging out. Yeah, cozy is a good way to do it. Put it. So yeah, getting into it itself, and everybody's like, all right, abandon the village. There's an avalanche coming. We got to go. And Luffy and Sanji are already on the move. But I do love this line from Sanji. Luffy asks, what do we do? Sanji's like, I don't know, but Nami comes first, Nami comes second, Nami comes third, Nami comes fourth, and Nami comes fifth. Got that? Protect her with your life.
Just all, I would like to just imagine that he's just like spouting this off so quickly as they're running away from the avalanche. Just like, this is the most important thing. Yeah, no matter what. And they find a ledge that might get them above the snow level and maybe still be protected. But nope, not enough. And they all get just flung up into the air from the sheer force of it. Yeah. But Luffy spots something and comes up with an idea. He grabs hold of Sanji and they start riding down on top of a pine tree. Which is, man, this whole sequence is full of so many it's like a fun set piece. Yeah. They're surfing down the mountain, opposite way they want to go, of course, on a pine tree. And they're just like, oh, crap, now we're losing all this time. And you think that's bad enough until you see the next page. Going from bad to worse. And the Lapins are also riding trees, giant chasing after them. Snowboarding rabbits. I love how some are doing tricks, too. Yeah, freaking 1080 snowboarding over here. I cracked up. I completely forgot about this. It is amazing. What a great surprise. I love how even Sanji's like, come on. Yeah, seriously. I feel like this whole situation is just like a sequence of bad to worse. Yeah. It is just, they're swiping at him. They're trying to dodge. They're just coming across him all over the place. And they're coming up against another set of rocks with some spiked trees at the top. And it's, they're about to crash because Nami's there, but Sanji tosses Luffy off to protect her, and he is the one instead to get caught up in the rock, and it just falls into the avalanche, which of course sets Luffy off. The sacrifice. Luffy's just like, no, you idiot, don't hog the glory. Tries to stretch out to save him and only gets the glove. And then it's just the glove. Oh my God. It is just devastating to see that happen where they're trying so hard to survive, but these damn rabbits. It reminds me of that meme where it's like the person drowning and the other person coming to give him a high five. Good job. Good job. Oh. But yeah, the village is also basically like a ticking time bomb here. And so everybody's trying to run off, and
Even Wapol and his men try to take off, and they get on top of Robson, who goes into serious mode.
Serious mode. Yeah, I love this little diagram because it's like his legs are like tucked in, but he can stretch his legs, so to speak.
He's just sort of like, they're over adapted to the snow. It's so comfortable that it just doesn't even bother to stand up.
Hey, you know what?
Yeah. Also omnivorous, so that's a little terrifying that you get eaten by this thing. And Wapol is so selfish. I mean, he saves his vassals, of course, but he doesn't save the doctors. Yourselves.
Yeah. Wow.
So the men get buried. The doctors probably get buried. They're all running away.
How would anybody serve somebody like that?
I have no idea.
Like, I feel like at that point, I would just be like, he just left me high and dry. Again, I would like to point out.
Yeah. Like, he only seems to protect those the highest in power. He does, like, they have these other men that, of course, they stay safe by not opposing him. But it's still, like, eventually you'll get thrown under the bus.
Yeah.
But yeah, the snow's coming down. They're running. Usopp and Vivi are running. And Luffy and Nami are in a safe spot. He gives her his coat, gives her his hat, dives into the avalanche as it finally overtakes everybody, and it just snow everywhere.
What a crazy chapter.
Yeah. It's so much happening all at once. And speaking of crazy, just seeing Wapol's mouth extend so far out and eat his way out of the snow, including...
Just a disgusting character.
Oh God!
He is
just awful. He even, like, his mouth got so big he was able to eat his the vassals and Robson whole. Spits him out, but and immediately blames the Straw Hat Gang for starting the avalanche.
That makes me wonder if, like, is it a known thing that the Lapins can just cause avalanches if you piss them off hard enough?
Don't know.
I guess nobody is dumb enough to mess with them in the first place, so I guess they would never know, because they would just, like, if you get close, you're probably dead anyway.
Yeah, they don't mess with them, but also most people probably can't survive that long that they get desperate enough to just cause an avalanche. It's like, screw it, we're gonna just do this.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, he is done, but then it is time for just badass Luffy mode.
Oh yeah.
Because you see, even the Lapins were buried, and that young rabbit is trying to dig out, presumably its parent.
Yeah.
And then here comes Luffy.
He just
pulls it out of the snow while carrying Sanji and Nami.
Oh,
cloaked in shadow, and just silently walks off. And that's what it's like, just saying, neither of you die. I'll get you to that castle. I promise. And it's like,
can't rest yet because we got Wapol on their tail.
Exactly. It's like that's so cool at the moment, but Wapol's already caught up to him. It's like, oh God, what's he gonna do in this situation when he couldn't even fight the freaking Lapins?
Yep. Yeah, and that's sort of what I mean by just things going from bad to worse, And now, like, Sanji's out too.
Luffy on his own carrying 2 injured people. It is a bad situation. Like this is like, we know Luffy's strong. To see how far he's getting pushed in this is awesome to see. Like it's a different thing than just a fight. It's that test of abilities.
Yeah, it's sort of that. It's a good, because we're going to see just like how crazy strong Luffy's will to live is.
Yes,
and the lengths he will go for his friends.
Yeah. Absolutely. We got SBS's back. Nothing too crazy other than the fact that Kuina and Tashigi are both named after bird names, as well as Nojiko is also the name of a bird. Apparently they're both flightless birds according to Oda. Yeah, it's just like, oh, okay, well, there you go.
Good to know.
That's something, I guess. But now it's time for chapter 138, The Summit. And we get a big tease for this.
Django face reveal.
Yeah. A disguise is necessary. 5 seconds until Django's true face revealed. What does he look like behind the glasses?
We'll have to find out.
Yeah. That feels like worth a panel, not the 5 seconds until Garp makes his decision.
Yeah, this is like the build up to a gag. Oh, yeah.
As we'll see.
I'm okay with it. It's Well, I think, less ridiculous than all of like the Garp stuff.
Yeah. Garp felt like it was dragging. Django seems like it's going at a good pace.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, into the chapter itself, and Wapol immediately puts himself in front of Luffy, and all Luffy says is move.
And he just walks past him.
Yeah. Wapol's so upset by this is like, I thought of a new law. Write this down. Anyone who ignores the king dies. And we'll start by the two ignore me most, the sick one and the injured one. It's like, oh my God, this guy.
You just can't, I don't know, just the lowest of the low.
It's one of those things where it's so ridiculous, it's funny, but it's also so ridiculous that you're like, screw this guy.
Right, yeah, just like seeing this guy wield any amount of power is just it sort of just makes you lose hope in all of society.
Yeah.
You're just like, all right, he's just gonna write new rules on the fly.
I guess so. He's just that type of brat.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see what Kuromarimo is able to do, where his boxing gloves have spikes.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, sure. Okay, why not?
Yeah. I kind of forgot, so it was a good reminder that Luffy remembered, because he was about to fight back, and he sort of remembers the words of wisdom from Sanji.
Yeah.
Every blow you take will be felt by Nami. So he's Luffy just opts to book it instead.
Yeah, and that backflip with both of them to avoid the arrows.
Yeah.
God, that is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wapol showing off even more of his skills, where it's he's good at snow combat, snow powder makeup. And to see that mouth, like a cave.
Yeah,
in the middle
just
of
a
snow.
whole mouth covered by snow. Some real nightmare fuel.
Seriously, it is freaky. And it actually does put Luffy in a bad position where he's midair. The other two are coming after him.
Yeah.
And they're pretty much all set. But Luffy's act of kindness actually won over the Lapins, and they come down and just pound those two.
I love they come in out of nowhere behind Luffy, and then one of them just like flexes with the little baby on the back.
That's cool. It's like, oh wow,
I love it.
It's like Luffy won over the Lapins after all that trouble.
Yep.
And he says his thanks and runs off while the Lapins line up.
And now Wapol and the gang have to deal with the well, I love even Lapins is the sound effect.
That's like, really good.
Yep.
They have their own sound effect. And then we get this has to be the most harrowing scene in the manga thus far.
Yeah.
Just this sheer determination of Luffy. It is snowing. It is a blizzard. It is a sheer mountain. He can't see the top. He's holding Sanji by his mouth with his mouth.
He takes off his shoes.
Takes off his shoes so he can climb more easily. And just starts climbing. All the while we're thinking, doctor, doctor, doctor. 3 hours pass, still saying doctor. He's climbing. A fingernail chips, and he starts losing his grip, which causes, of course, pain. He screams, what causes him to drop Sanji, and he has to use his gum powers to catch him with his mouth. Dear God.
Oh, this is a goofy pirate comic about a boy who can stretch. He is stretching his mouth to prevent his friend from falling off a cliff and dying. As one does.
But it's treated so seriously because you're just so invested in this moment. You see the snow just piling up more and more from just how much it's going.
Yeah, his hands bleeding. I feel cold just reading the sequence. Like I get the chills just like, ugh.
It absolutely does. It just puts that sense of chills into you. And eventually Luffy does make it. We get this nice spread just showing off the castle.
The castle, when he finally gets there, looks gorgeous, just like covered in all of that snow.
Mm-hmm. That said, the manga does a great job of conveying the coldness and just the toughness.
Yeah.
And granted, they can't spend too long on it to really nail into it, but we only got really 5 pages of the climb. It's well done. It shows it off, but the anime makes it better.
I'll have to go back and check that scene. I imagine that's one of those scenes that kind of does a little bit of a double duty, where it's like you can get away with stretching it out because it just sort of makes the emotional hit. You're just like, oh, Luffy.
Yeah, they absolutely stretch it out.
That's one where it makes sense.
But it makes that effort by Luffy so much better, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I remember just the first time I was watching it, I'm just like glued to the screen, like, dear God.
Yep.
It's one of those things that just draws you in. Although they do have one last little bit here that just makes it so like, oh dear God, what is going on now with it? They mix it up there, and then a piece of snow just starts collapsing with him on it.
You can't catch a break, man.
No. Also, Wapol strong enough to actually take down the Lapins.
Yeah, seriously. I wasn't entirely sure. I thought they were bite marks at first, but I think they're just sort of like general like scratch it, like, bruises.
Yeah, I don't think he ate any of them, but I think the other two probably took him out. Granted, it took him a while. They spent 3 hours fighting these things.
Yeah.
But Wapol is not out of the picture yet. However, Luffy and Nami, because Sanji was still safe, but Luffy and Nami saved by this dude.
Yeah.
This beast.
Just covered in shadow. And,
yep. And that's the chapter. That
was a good one.
Really good one.
The tension really hits in that chapter.
Absolutely does. The SBS, we got a little bit. We got the name of that lady that they thought was a hiking bear. Funny enough, her name is actually Maria Onion Bear.
That's not confusing.
No, not at all. People were pointing out the fact that she ended up with more onions, and even Oda and the staff noticed that, but they're like, they won't notice. People noticed. Of course. I also like this little thing here. Is like, Kureha tells the child to remember what she did, but why? Shouldn't he try to forget it? It must have been excruciatingly painful. It's like, you got it wrong. The doctor wants the boy to remember that sometimes you have to endure a little pain to feel a lot better. Is that not obvious? Which I thought was a pretty good lesson.
Yeah.
But it's time for the reveal of Django's face with chapter 139, Enter Tony Chopper.
I don't want to see this ever again.
No, I don't either. Dear God, the fact that Django... Eyes with a heart. He actually has heart-shaped eyes.
I would like to apologize for the viewers watching the video version, as we'll be having to talk about this whole chapter with this chapter cover.
This is punishment, apparently. My God.
You know what? Just change tabs. I don't know. Go do your taxes or something.
Oh, God. That's haunting.
Just like...
Much better face stuff happens. Like the physical comedy between Vivi and Usopp in this chapter are amazing.
This is great. I cracked up so much.
Oh God!
Like
seeing Vivi drag Usopp by his nose, his face stretching like putty. It's kind of disturbing.
Yeah, and he's ready to move on to the next life. Vivi's trying to keep him awake and alive.
Yeah. So she slaps him, what is it? 2, 3, 4, 6, 12, like 15 or 16 times.
Yes.
And he finally wakes him up. Is like, and his face is just completely swollen.
I love that sort of like feigning innocence. Like Vivi just looks adorable. It's like, it's frostbite. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. We're good.
Just slap the mess out of him. And then, of course, out comes Zoro.
Yeah, Zoro out of nowhere. Haven't seen him in forever.
And then this gag also destroyed me, where he looks at Usopp's swollen, or he's like, oh, it's Vivi, and then like he takes a second, and then he looks at Usopp's swollen face. He zooms in on the nose, and he's like, oh, it's Usopp.
Yeah, has to look at the nose to actually realize it's Usopp because his face is that swollen. And we find out what happened to Zoro, where he was doing his midwinter swim. There was a fish in the river, and he was surprised to see such a fish in such a cold water, so we chased it. But he got out on the wrong side of the river and got lost in the woods. Bad
Sounds
directions. Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Taking effect again. He starts begging Usopp, not begging, but demanding Usopp to give over his a boot, his coat. Yeah,
he's like, just something. One shoe.
And that's when they come across Bighorn Village. They actually make it back. And all the soldiers are preventing the villagers from digging Dalton out of the snow.
Again, the loyalty.
I know. Like, Wapol's not even there anymore, and they're still doing all of this. Yeah. I guess it's just a sense of like the feeling of power, because all of them are drawn like to just complete villains.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So that's I don't know. This is the only way they can feel they have control over their lives. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. But we also get this wonderful bit where Zoro says, "We met them at sea, right? They're enemies, right? Yeah. What are you so worked up about?" And this guy's just like, if anybody doesn't like it, can take us on. but I don't think you got the guts without Dalton. And Zoro just smacks him in the face.
So good. And then takes his clothes.
Yeah, that's the only reason he attacked is he just wanted the clothes.
Yep.
That's somebody I can beat up.
Yep. Well, we changed scenes after this, but I love that, like, you know, the crowd of soldiers just like, you know, like, kill him, and then Zoro just like, boy.
You never learn. It's like, yeah, it's not one of those things like, oh dear, are they going to be all right? It's like, no, they're done.
Oh yeah.
They stand no chance. Zoro doesn't even have his swords, and they have no chance.
No sword style, just smacking him in the face.
Mm-hmm. And we return to the castle, and turns out that Dr. Correa had returned, and she's talking with somebody who's like, you know, what made her sick? And it turns out to be something called akasia. And she's having this other voice watch after her, and we get to see. I love this little mood setting. We just see some of the cast. We see all these
detail in the setting. Like, it just, I love how dense it feels.
Yeah, and I love how most of the entrants almost seem like torture devices.
Yeah, just like in the top panel on the right side, it's just like a skull.
Yeah, which is covering a magnifying glass.
Yeah, like.
And then one of the chairs has spikes along the back, and the skull is stabbed through the head. It's like
horrifying.
It does look terrifying. And there's an axe. The axe holding up the ice bag on Nami's head.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Jesus Christ.
That is so good.
Wow.
But hey, Nami's actually waking up and scares the heck out of this little reindeer guy. I guess we'll go with. Obviously, you know, we can go ahead now because these chapters reveal it.
Yeah.
It is so weird to see Chopper's early manga design.
Oh yeah, as anybody might be reading along, you know, I feel like it's only natural for any sort of long-running manga, like the art style changes as the years go by, because the author just kind of, like, you know, they get so comfortable drawing the characters. Mm-hmm. So they're, you know, the style changes. And even other characters do, like, I mean, we're like 139 chapters in, and you know, the style is already like significantly different compared to where we started. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the way Chopper will change, as we'll see, I think is probably the most drastic.
I think he goes through the Pikachu evolution.
Yeah,
where, starts out kind of chunky, and then he gets, you know, thinned out as time goes on.
Yeah, makes sense because it's the same voice actress.
Oh yeah, it is. I forgot about that she plays Chopper. That's amazing. Yeah. It's also the beginning of this wonderful gag. You're peeking out the wrong way, where his whole body's out and just one eye covered.
Right? Yeah. Just all right. gotta switch it.
Yep. What a moron.
Yep. But then, of course, you know, he speaks, and that, you know, freaks out Nami.
And it's just like, he's like, "Get lost, human. By the way, is your fever better?" So just kind of adorable. Yes. And that's when Correa shows up. I love how good she is that she can just touch Nami's forehead with her finger.
Taking a swig.
Swig, and be able to tell immediately. It's like, you're 100.76 degrees Fahrenheit. Tolerable.
Just utter boss.
Yeah. Seriously, she is amazing. Nami's looking around. It's like, hey, where are the other two? She's like, they're sleeping soundly in the next room. And then we finally get an explanation of what actually happened to Nami, what made her so sick. She was bitten by an insect called akasia that live in hot, steaming jungles. It's an infectious tick, and the bite infects the victim with a virulent bacteria. Over the course of 5 days, it ravages the victim, causes a fever that never drops below 104. I don't know what some of those other things are that causes it, but she's able to tell how long ago it would have been. But yes, if it had been left untreated, if they had not gone to look for this doctor, Nami would have been dead in 2 more days.
Yeah. Well, I love this gag here where, you know, Correa's like, we solved this. Like, this is, you know, like, this disease was eradicated 100 years ago. It was like, were you in a jungle on a prehistoric island with your belly exposed? And then, you know, Nami's like, yeah.
You were silly. And like actual shocked face from Correa.
Yeah. And shout out to one of our listeners who tagged us on Twitter to, like, apparently we actually see Nami get bit.
I completely missed that. I knew she had gotten bit, but I did not look to see that it actually happened. I didn't even look back at the chapters myself to see that, but yeah,
which is man, cool attention to detail. I had forgotten that was sort of the source of it, so I wasn't even looking out for it. I was like, me over here, I'm usually like, oh, this will come up later. I completely missed that.
I remembered it, but I also didn't want to spoil it for those who hadn't read it before.
Yeah,
but besides fan service, there was a reason to burn off Nami's shirt.
You know what? No. That doesn't justify it.
No.
You win this time, Oda.
And Nami's immediately insisting, it's like, okay, I'm better now. Thank you so much. I gotta go.
And then
Korea's like, you gotta be here for 3 days. And it's like, no, she's threatened her with a scalpel. It's like, there's only two ways that patient leaves my care: recovered or dead. You're not going anywhere.
Such a boss.
Oh god, I love the faces Korea makes.
Yeah. Oh my god, she looks horrifying in the best way.
It's so good.
But
of course, it's time for some chaos as both Sanji and Luffy are awake, chasing down Chopper,
trying to eat him.
You gotta get that deer meat. And a very particular example here that Nami points out is that you have to convey through dialogue in the manga: a blue-nosed talking deer.
Yep. And
that's when we get a flashback to when they first arrived. Chopper's breaking it down, all the stuff. He climbed up the mountain. The curious for is like, boil some water and throw him in it.
Jesus Christ.
Sanji has 6 broken ribs and a cracked spine. Dear God.
Good God. Yeah.
And Nami's actually the worst of all of them. And so there's like, get them all taken care of. It's like, I like that Chopper's worried about them. He's like, don't, it's okay. I'll fix up these kids.
I definitely think it's really cool how Dr. Kureha has been built up as somebody who like only really takes care of people when she's just like, out and about whenever she feels like it, basically, but like sort of without hesitation, like these people are basically showing up on her doorstep like, okay, these people need help.
Yeah, it's like, okay, they made that trick. These are people that are like have her interest, I'd say. And even then, Luffy's just like, help my friends. He's just so cold. Man. So it goes back to the present, and they're still trying to eat him. And Kureha's just sort of explaining is like, oh, don't you know what he is? He's your basic blue-nosed reindeer, but reindeer don't talk.
And they also don't, as we see on the next page, transform.
Yeah, he transforms and knocks both of them straight into the stone.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
We also get that interesting reveal that he ate the human fruit.
Yep.
So says Kureha.
Which enables him to do anything a human could do. Which, man, I'm pretty sure it's an SBS question later about, and we'll wait for Oda's answer for it. But what would happen if a human ate the human fruit?
Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, because there are, as you see, there's something interesting about these, as we put them, Zoan type fruits. As we saw with Dalton, and as we've seen with Chopper. We will get an explanation, so I'll leave it for that point. But the other more important thing is that Kureha's taught him all of her medical skills. That has some interesting implications, I'd say. But that's the end of the chapter. So let's get to our final chapter of the set. We've been blowing through these because it's just so much action, so much stuff going on.
Yeah, seriously.
Chapter 140, The Castle of Snow. And get a nice little jungle setting here as they're all just hanging out and eating.
Yeah, it almost feels like a spread more fitting for Little Garden, but...
It really does. Like, this should not be in the snow, but I guess it's hard to see them hanging out in casual clothes in the snow areas. And immediately, Luffy is just saying, join us, to Kureha.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she smacks him.
Yep, smacks him with her foot. Is like, watch your mouth. I'm still in my pert and perky 130s. and I love the little details. Like, wow, what an amazing old crone from Sanji. And the next panel, he's conked out next to the door while Chopper is hiding.
Oh, I didn't even notice. Just smoldering.
It's like, you want me to be a pirate? I have no time for such nonsense. I have no interest in the sea. She's like, Luffy said, I don't care if you're interested. Just do it. Let's have an adventure.
Yeah. Trying to recruit an old lady.
But this does capture Chopper's attention, where this random this other panel just says, I like pirates.
Yeah, looking like a flashback almost.
Yeah. What's going on there? And of course, that's when Sanji and Luffy spot him again. They just hold at reindeer stew, and they're just running off about again.
Oh, and I love as I start chasing him, Kuroha's like, I'll eat you before you can eat him. She's just chasing after them with a knife.
Yep. So they all run out the door.
Complete chaos.
And it's kind of cold, so Nami's going to get up and close the door. But Chopper's like, no, you still have a fever. Stay in bed. I'll take care of it. So he takes care of it.
Good little boy.
Yeah, he is. And Nami, shows appreciation, and he's like, "Shut up! Don't be ridiculous. I don't accept thanks from humans." Meanwhile, he's just doing this little happy dance.
Yes, his dialogue says one thing, but his body says something entirely else, different.
If I remember correctly, maybe it's the old subs, the translations. I remember in the anime he would just say, "Don't be ridiculous. I don't accept thanks, jerk, asshole, idiot."
Yeah. I do think that comes in a little bit later.
It's fun. We'll be seeing probably more of Chopper as time goes on.
Yeah, that one's a bit of a running gag.
Yeah,
at least for a while.
And of course, we get another joke of Luffy's only realizing the code when he's actually told about it.
Yes. Again,
he's so dumb.
Is that how he managed his way up the mountain? If he just is he too stupid to realize he was cold?
Too stupid and stubborn. I think that's what it comes down to. But yeah, as Sanji points out, the entire castle is filled with snow. The doors to the unused rooms are frozen over. So Korea's barely using the castle, which makes sense. It's a castle.
Yeah. A castle with basically two people in it.
And man, she's tossing the butcher knives at them. And Sanji's like, don't recruit her. She's no doctor. She wants to kill us. God, these little, I say animations, but these little motions from Chopper
he's such an expressive, just like little gremlin of a character.
It's like, so you're pirates, and you just see this little tup. You could just imagine the movement of him getting closer so he could sort of poke Nami.
Adorable.
And he's like, are you interested in pirates? Of course not, idiot. And he just
crashes into the wall.
And he's immediately freaked out by Nami asking if he wants to come along. And she's like, yeah, sail the ocean with us. I'd really appreciate it if we had a doctor with us. I wouldn't have to stay here for 3 more days, and we could really use a doctor. And this is like the nicest Nami's ever been, I swear.
Right, yeah. Well, she's nice to animals.
Yeah, she is extremely sweet in these in these interactions with Chopper. He's just like, I'm a reindeer, I can't live with humans. And it's like, besides, doesn't the way I look scare you?
Here comes the pain.
And he's just like putting out all these reasons. But of course, Sanji and Luffy arrive with butcher knives sticking out of their heads, ignoring the pain. And of course, they all run out and leave the door open again. And Korea just sort of like, oh, they're fast, and just sort of stays around. And I love this little interaction between the two of them. It's like, you disappoint me, girly. I turn my back on you for a minute, and you try to seduce my reindeer without permission. And I love this retort. Oh, do I need permission to seduce him?
Oh, it's like a... God, there's almost like a mother-daughter kind of interaction between these two.
Yeah. Honestly, I could imagine this is very similar to what an old Belmare would be like.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think, like, if there's one thing that Oda loves, it's old people. Like,
yeah, and I appreciate
old people
that.
In One Piece are they're always ridiculously cool.
If you can make a very cool old person, I am completely down. Just as an offhand thing, I recently played the Live Alive demo, and of the 3 characters, one of them, my favorite, was the old man kung fu master. Because just the way they portray him. If you portray an old person just right, they could be some of the coolest characters out there.
For sure.
But it's time for some backstory on Chopper. And his life has just been full of rejection because of his blue nose. His herd forced him to walk alone far behind, even when he was little. And it was only made worse after he ate the human fruit. And they treated him like a freak because of that other form. But he's still longed for companionship, so he's trying to go live with humans. But they rejected him too because they thought he looked like an abominable snowman.
They see him getting shot at and stuff. Like he's just crying. Ugh.
And we can suppose from this, we've seen him in 3 forms, and we've seen some different forms from Dalton as well, where it looks like they have original form. In Dalton's case, human, and in Chopper's case, the reindeer that we saw when we first got introduced to Korea. The animal form, which we saw at the end of the last set of chapters, Dalton in full bison form. And then we see Chopper in full human form. And then a mix, which we saw during the fight with Wapol. And I think what we see Chopper right now.
Yeah.
So
it seems like they're all very versatile.
I like that he establishes all that. And you can suppose all that even without knowing it all.
Can all sort of just transform through into sort of like various levels of animal.
Yeah, it's establishing visually the set rules of this type of devil fruit.
Yeah,
it's
cool. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm sure it'll come up later.
Animorphs. That's what I was thinking of. They're Animorphs.
Animorphs. There you go. I've never read Animorphs, but that makes sense.
It took me a second. I had to rub my brain cells together for that one.
But after all that, it's like she's just asking, do you really think people can heal his heart? And it's one of those things like, man, maybe. But finally, Luffy and Sanji discover why it's so cold in here, because the main door is wide open. Yep. So they're going to go close it. But Chopper's like, no, don't touch the door. It's like, I ignore it before we freeze. And he finally does, like, hey, didn't you hear what I said? And he just breaks off the thing, goes into his humanish form, and scares him. And that's when they two of them notice that, there's baby snowboards on top of the door. If you closed it, they'd fall. And that's when they finally notice, like, that thing can speak. It's a monster. Yep. And of course, it's like, he's leaving.
His feelings.
He's just feeling. At first, it was little, then it turned into a big monster, and you can just sort of see he's kind of heartbroken by it.
Yeah,
and of course, immediately Luffy changes tactics. He's interesting. Let's recruit him. And it just starts chasing, asking him to join the crew.
Yeah, they're chasing a monster. Join our crew.
At least they're not trying to eat him anymore.
Yep.
But it's time to get into some backstory, it seems, because there was a man that he cared for long ago, a quack named Dr. Hiraluk, who lived in the Drum Kingdom, and he gave Chopper his name and treated him like a son.
Yep. Meanwhile, we've also got Wapol climbing
vertically on Robson. Robson is MVP, let's be honest here.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, that's ridiculous that he can climb up that mountain. So yeah, Wapol's coming. Chopper can smell it. But I think first we're going to get some backstory on Dr. Hiraluk.
Oh boy.
Yep. Oh man, it's going to be interesting.
A little bit of a somber way to end.
Yeah.
You kind of you know it's coming. You know it's coming.
Oh, we're getting the backstory territory.
You know.
Get ready to cry.
all aboard the pain train.
Yeah, we know how this goes at this point. It's like, oh God, especially it's like his whole life has been pain.
Yep.
It's like, oh, good. Let's see it.
Yep.
And we get one final SBS here where if somebody was giving him heck, it's like, hey, the birthdays were way too slapdash. Think about it a bit more. And then another person was like, hey, what are Vivi and Chopper's birthdays? Because I think Vivi's should be February 2nd and Chopper should be December 24th. And I was like, yeah, sure. Those are the birthdays.
Yeah. That's also a bit of a recurring thing whenever readers will suggest like birthdays or anything, any sort of information like that. Oda is just always like, yeah, whatever.
Sure, why not? It doesn't matter in the long run. I mean, Chopper's does make sense. Trying to think February 2nd would be the big deal. I'm guessing it has to do with VV 22.
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
that's my best guess.
Yeah. I don't think you can pronounce like because you'd be ni, but like the character is whatever.
Yeah, as Oda says.
I'll look it up later.
Whatever. But yeah, that's our chapters. And man, what a roller coaster of just things happening. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'd call it chaotic other than the constant chases of Chopper.
The avalanche was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. You got some really cool set pieces in here. Some truly harrowing scenes. The introduction of some fun new characters. And a villain that you just want to see the crap beat out of him.
Getting worse and worse.
Yep. So, yeah, I'm so excited to see where this goes and to see how it continues on. But, yeah, I think with that, we've said all we've wanted to say about chapters 136 to 140 of One Piece. Thank you so much for listening, and you can find more of my ramblings and stream VODs over at BitNerd Games on YouTube or BitNerd with an underscore at the end on Twitter. Brandon, where can everybody find you at?
I'm at Brandon Bovia on Twitter.com, where you can find me talking about anime and manga and games and my job and all that fun stuff. Yeah, nothing particular of note to talk about, I think, this time. But yeah, if you're interested at all in that, give me a follow.
Just general entertainment that you should absolutely check out. And if you'd like to help us out more, you can support the podcast over at patreon.com/Derek Bittner, that's DERRICKBITNER, to listen to the next episode 3 days early. And make sure to return next time as we discuss chapters 141 to 145 of One Piece. Until then, my friends, bye.
Remember to take life one piece at a time.
Dr. Ian's medicine works quickly to reduce the fever, but the bacteria from the Kestia will still remain inside your body for a little while longer. So just take your antibiotic shot and stay in bed.
Thank you. You're the one who's been taking care of me, aren't you?
You just shut up! I don't need thanks from you or any other low-life human! Don't mock me! Oh, never mind that. I'm just being silly. No, seriously, I'm being such a fool.
He's not so good at hiding his emotions.